following presentation is
We have got some breaking news here, guys. That's right, breaking news. You understand what that means? Let me tell you. First of all, I got Raw on right now, so this is what's all happening live in real time, guys. So Eddie Kingston has posted on his Instagram, and he says, "Love is the highest elevation of understanding. I don't understand AEW anymore after last night. Why come back, SMH?" Now, for those who are uneducated, SMH means shaking my head. So it unfortunately looks like we might not be seeing Eddie Kingston in AEW anymore. It's not like he's been around a lot in AEW as of recently, as of, you know, within the last couple of years. He's there occasionally, but not all the time, which is very unfortunate because Eddie Kingston is a personal favorite of mine. Eddie Kingston is beloved by the AEW fans, the AEW fan base, and so it's really hard to see that, you know, Eddie Kingston feels like, you know, perhaps he doesn't understand the business anymore. He perhaps feels like he hasn't been treated right in his own career, and he's confused as to what's going on in the landscape of wrestling. Now, sources say he's thinking of retiring. Sources close to Eddie Kingston are saying that he is thinking of retiring as a whole, not just from AEW, but from professional wrestling as a whole, as a business. He doesn't understand the landscape anymore. He doesn't understand the business anymore. Now, who can blame him? Because after last night, what AEW showed us was a pretty great show, but they really still got to do some work. The main event is your most important show. It's the most important match, the most important moment of any pay-per-view is that main event. Now, lucky for guys like Tony Khan, Triple H, you know, Vince McMahon, all these wrestling bookers, you have that to your advantage. Because unlike UFC and boxing where the main event could be absolutely terrible, you are in control of the main event and what happens in the main event. So the question I have to ask myself is, why did last night's main event go the way it went? Nobody can really say. I'm confused, and it looks like Eddie Kingston is confused. Eddie Kingston, if he retires, this is big, huge news. Eddie Kingston was a favorite of mine in AEW. Eddie Kingston loved by many. Now, the thing about Eddie Kingston, though, is not only could he wrestle pretty well, he was a good worker. He never broke kayfabe. He was the kind of guy where he thought wrestling was real. That was the whole joke. You know, someone's got to tell Eddie Kingston that wrestling isn't real. He cuts magnificent promos. He's funny. He's entertaining. You know, his whole feud with Miro was great. His feud with CM Punk was great. When him and Moxley were feuding with the Elite, that was really cool too. So he's a really good worker. I'm confused as to why he hasn't been a main part, a portion of AEW. But I ask myself a lot of things when it comes to AEW. So it looks like, unfortunately, Eddie Kingston may not be returning to AEW and may very well just be retiring from wrestling as a whole. I'm very upset about this. I'm very disappointed. I love Eddie Kingston, and I'm sure, you know, if you're watching this, you do too. A lot of WWE shills don't like Eddie Kingston. I don't know why. To me, he's like Kevin Owens, but better. That's the way I see him. I don't know. They're not really similar, but in a way, they're kind of similar. But that's what I feel about Eddie Kingston. I think he's great. I'm pretty sure I have his action figure. But he literally says, I don't understand AEW anymore after last night. Why come back, SMH? So if he's thinking of retiring, you know, I mean, you can think of retiring all you want, but he said in his Instagram, specifically AEW, he doesn't understand AEW anymore. I don't know. Now, could this be a whole work thing? Eddie Kingston likes to do that. He likes to, I mean, he has fully quit AEW before, but it was in storyline that he quit. So, I don't know. I don't think this is a work, though, because of all the things that happen in AEW, all the stuff that goes on, man, people leaving, people are upset and disappointed. This has been a recurring thing for many years in AEW. I don't think this is a work. I think, unfortunately, this might be true. It is sad to see Eddie Kingston go. Just like it was sad to see Miro go, and Ricky Starks, and Ethan Page, and whoever else, Malachi Black. I mean, he sounds frustrated. Why come back, SMH? He sounds frustrated. You know, so all the best to him, but this is breaking news, guys. Eddie Kingston potentially leaving AEW. Let me know what you think in the comments.